While out hunting, Haruto unexpectedly came across a small, white snake. That night, curiosity got the better of him, and he examined it closely. At first, he thought he saw both a male and female. When he showed the photo to his childhood friend, Mizuki, her reaction grew stranger by the moment, blushing, glaring, and even hitting him playfully whenever he brought it up. But everything changed the night Haruto saw Mizuki leaving the bathroom, with a white snake tail marked by a familiar red spot. The truth struck him like lightning. The snake he had nearly mistaken for a wild creature was actually his childhood friend. Panicking, Haruto turned to run, but Mizuki pressed him against the door, her cheeks flushed. With embarrassment and determination, she told him that since things had gone this far, he would have to take responsibility. The white snake itself was stunning, over a meter long, snow white and imposing. From the bushes, it gazed at him coldly, then gently brushed against his palm, almost affectionately. Haruto found it adorable. Luckily, he had experience from working part-time at a reptile shop and knew how to handle snakes. He quickly supported its belly and placed it into his bag. If it hadn't nearly slipped into the elevator to frighten the neighbors, he might have shown it off immediately at the store. Its pristine body shimmered faintly pink under the dim lights. When they arrived at the apartment entrance, Haruto fished out his key, only to find the snake's tail pressing against the smart lock of Mizuki's house across the street. Alarmed, he pulled the snake back and scolded it gently. "Do you know who lives there? If Mizuki catches you sneaking in, you'll end up as snake stew." But as soon as he said that, he realized Mizuki's security camera was recording. Flustered, he wiped the doorknob clean with his shirt and muttered an apology to the camera, then tapped the snake's head. Strangely, the snake stiffened, then stretched its neck toward the keypad again, tapping it as if with attitude. Haruto quickly blocked it with his phone. "You little rebel. Just wait, I'll deal with you later." The snake suddenly went quiet. Haruto apologized again to the camera, stuffed the snake back into his bag, and hurried into his own home. On his wrist, the snake coiled loosely, its smooth scales gliding under his fingers, tongue flickering at him. Its temper was clear, yet Haruto couldn't help but smile while stroking it. When his gaze met the snake's crimson eyes, however, he froze. Within them, he saw 3 parts sarcasm and 7 parts irritation, as if Mizuki herself were glaring at him through those eyes. Confused, Haruto placed the snake into a transparent storage box for safekeeping before heading to shower. Yet by the time he grabbed his pajamas, the snake had already escaped 3 times. Nervous that it might run wild, he carried the box into the bathroom and kept watch even while bathing. When he finished, the snake had curled tightly into a ball, its head hidden. Haruto tried teasing it by brushing its body, but the snake merely flicked its tongue with faint annoyance, then turned its head away to hide. Thinking it only wanted more attention, Haruto gently pulled it back by the belly. His fingers brushed against its tail by accident. At once, the snake shivered, the tip of its tail curling tightly around his little finger. Everyone knew that a snake's head and tail were its most sensitive spots. Still, Haruto, half amused and half teasing, stroked the tip of its tail softly. The snake squirmed rebelliously, twisting itself around his wrist as though to escape. But Haruto's grip was firm. He pinched the tail just enough to make the snake shudder, then soothed it with gentle strokes, whispering as though calming a pet. It turned out the snake was female. Even without the mystery, she was still beautiful, especially that delicate tail. But the moment Haruto admired it aloud, the little snake sank its fangs into his arm. Blood welled instantly, and he let out a sharp cry. The next morning, Haruto woke to find the white snake gone. Panic surged. His beloved Shirohebe had vanished. Following faint traces of her escape, he rushed to the guest room, only to be met by Mizuki's crimson eyes. Startled, Haruto blurted out, "Mizuki? Why are you here?" She glared at him, ears tinged red. Without thinking, Haruto opened his phone's gallery and tapped on last night's photos. "Look, did you see this little white snake?" He stared at her with desperate hope, but Mizuki's face and neck flushed instantly, redder than pig liver at the market. Haruto froze. If it wasn't blushing, then what? His hand trembled, accidentally brushing his own lips in embarrassment. Before he could swipe further, Mizuki snatched the phone from his hands. At first, Haruto thought she wanted a closer look. Instead, Mizuki began deleting every photo he had painstakingly taken the night before. His heart sank. "Why are you deleting them? Those were my research materials. I even planned to upload a tutorial on how to tell a snake's gender." Her face burned hotter. Mizuki snapped back. "You even thought about posting them?" "Absolutely not." Her finger tapped faster, erasing everything. Frantic, Haruto grabbed her wrist, trying to reclaim his phone. Mizuki glared at him, leapt onto the bed, and held it high out of reach. Haruto stretched upward, angry and desperate. "Why? Do you know how long I worked last night? Respect my effort. Even if it was a female snake, there was no result. Only marks, scales, blood. Before he could finish, Mizuki kicked him in the face. Haruto stumbled back, then looked up at her flushed cheeks. For a moment, his throat tightened. Did she realize he had feelings for her? Could she understand? His voice faltered. Mizuki, you wouldn't delete everything just because. Mizuki's eyes blazed. Haruto, you idiot, go to hell. Her voice trembled, a mix of anger and shame. As she wobbled from nearly falling, Haruto instinctively caught her by the calf, pulling her down. She grit her teeth, muttering under her breath, "That snake is mine." Determined, Haruto seized her wrist. "If it's yours, prove it. Do you have evidence?" But Mizuki really did. She showed photos of the little white snake when it was still tiny, raising it from a hatchling. Haruto's heart cracked. "So what if it's yours? I can endure it, but you can't just take Shirohebe away." He clung to her legs, begging without shame, but Mizuki rejected him coldly. She refused to let him near the snake. His chest ached with heartbreak. Later, leaving the pet shop, Haruto dragged his feet, numb and defeated. Mizuki was waiting outside, sitting on her small electric scooter. Haruto turned away without a word. Unless she agreed to let him see Shirohebe, he wouldn't look back. But before he could go far, Mizuki rode after him, catching up. Haruto was about to speak when a voice called out from behind. "Haruto-kun?" He turned. A tall girl with a bright smile waved. It was Rika Yanagi. Surprised, Haruto blinked. "Rika, what are you doing here?" Rika brushed her hair shyly. "My house is nearby. I remembered you posted about your part-time job, so I thought maybe I'd run into you. Looks like I was right. What a coincidence." Her eyes drifted to Mizuki, who curled her lips into a subtle smile that sent a chill down Haruto's spine. He knew that smile. It meant trouble. Rika tilted her head innocently. "Oh, is this your girlfriend? But didn't she look different last week?" Haruto's heart sank. He remembered last semester when Mizuki had pulled a similar stunt, clinging to his arm and declaring outrageous things whenever another girl approached him. That time, she had even told a crying classmate, "Didn't you say you only like my stepmother?" From that day on, ridiculous rumors about him spread across campus. And now, it was happening again. Rika, however, didn't think much of it. She simply smiled sweetly. "So you're Haruto's sister? Nice to meet you, Oni-san. You're so pretty." Before Haruto could explain, Rika started praising him again. Mizuki's smile shifted from Rika back to Haruto, sharp enough to cut glass. Flustered, Haruto quickly typed a message to her. "Sis, why aren't you smiling? Are you just not the smiley type?" Mizuki leaned close, her voice dripping sarcasm as she pinched his shoulder. "Oh, my hard-working Oni-chan, supporting me with all those part-time jobs." Haruto winced. Mizuki's grip was merciless. Haruto couldn't believe how strong Mizuki was, his face nearly twisted in shock. "Thank you," he muttered awkwardly. Rika Yanagi, with her innocent smile, glanced between Haruto and Mizuki with open envy. "You two have such a great relationship as siblings." Haruto forced a smile back. "Siblings, huh? Right." Rika's eyes lit up suddenly. "Oh, Haruto-kun, I remember you like king snakes, right? My friend's shop just got a new batch in. Want to check them out?" At the word snake, Haruto's excitement was impossible to hide. "Really? Seriously? I've always wanted to raise one. My mom won't even let me keep a dog, let alone a snake. And the dorm's impossible. My roommate's terrified of chickens, so snakes are out of the question. That's why I can only satisfy myself working at the reptile shop." Rika giggled and pulled out her phone. "Look, they even have newborn two-headed snakes." She eagerly scrolled through photos, showing him one by one. The sidewalk was narrow, so Rika naturally walked right beside Haruto. Behind them, Mizuki trailed silently, her presence radiating a chilling aura that pressed against Haruto's back with every step. When they arrived, Rika's friend's store turned out to be across the street from Haruto's part-time shop. The new place had an even larger variety of snakes. Haruto immediately picked up a pure white snake, spinning it in his hands with delight. Then Rika asked softly, "Which one do you like best? I'll buy it for you." Haruto was about to decline. "That's too much, and I can't keep one," when suddenly a crash rang out behind him. He whipped around to see Mizuki sprawled on the ground, her ankle swelling instantly. Pain twisted her face. Haruto dropped the snake at once and rushed over. "Mizuki, are you okay? How can you fall on flat ground?" Her ankle looked terrible, and Haruto didn't even dare touch it. Mizuki tried to laugh it off. "It's fine, just a little swollen. At worst, I'll just get it amputated." Haruto grimaced. "Don't joke like that." Mizuki pouted, muttering, "But my brother only cares about snakes, not me." Caught between Rika's awkward stare and Mizuki's sulking, Haruto forced a strained smile, quickly excused himself, and supported Mizuki all the way back. She leaned heavily against him, glaring whenever he slowed down. Back at his shop, Haruto flipped through the family doctor's notes for treating her ankle. Meanwhile, he distracted himself by scrolling through the videos Rika had sent him, laughing under his breath. "What are you looking at?" Mizuki asked sullenly, pressing her chin into his shoulder. Her hair brushed against his cheek, sending a jolt through Haruto. He froze. "Snakes? he admitted, half defensive. Your Shirohebe won't even let me touch her, so can I at least look at other ones? Mizuki's ears burned red. After a pause, she whispered, if it's only for a few days, I can let you raise her. Haruto's eyes lit up like stars. Really? But Mizuki glared sharply. But you're not allowed to touch her again. Haruto swore instantly. Of course, I promise. I'm not some hooligan. She narrowed her eyes and gave a cold little laugh. You'd better not be. Still, Shirohebe was back in his arms soon after. Bad news, Mizuki's parents had returned from their trip. Good news, Haruto could now visit Mizuki's house to see Shirohebe. But strangely, Mizuki was never around, claiming she had tutoring sessions. Haruto didn't mind. Better, actually. Without Mizuki hovering, he could play with Shirohebe however he pleased. He traced the tip of her tail, watching it tremble, excitement rising in his chest. How shameless. So shameless. Whose little baby is this? Oh right, it's mine. One hand wasn't enough. He used both, wrapping her in his palms as she coiled tighter and tighter around his wrist, leaving red marks. Haruto let out a dramatic cry. Ah, snake! Stick to me! Stick to me like crazy. But just when his teasing went too far, Shirohebe whipped her tail across his face. Within only half a month, Haruto's entire video account was overflowing with Shirohebe content. And every time Rika asked him to see a snake, Shirohebe would immediately wrap herself possessively around his wrist, refusing to let go. The white snake coiled around Haruto's body so tightly he fainted, forgetting all about Rika Yanagi. That evening, after dinner, Haruto rushed to Mizuki's house, but his mother stopped him at the door, slipping something into his pocket. Don't meddle too much in young people's affairs, she warned, but protect yourself. Haruto froze. Had she discovered his secret visits to play with snakes? He decided he'd need to be more careful next time. When he pushed open Mizuki's door, the sound of running water greeted him. Smirking, he prepared to call out and startle her, when suddenly the bathroom door slid open. Out stepped Mizuki. Her wet hair clung to her cheeks, and from her hips stretched a long, gleaming white snake's tail. Droplets ran down its scales as it dragged behind her, massive and shimmering under the light. Haruto's jaw dropped. My childhood friend is a snake. He spun to run, but her soaked tail lashed out, coiling tightly around his waist and slamming him against the door. A familiar red marking glowed on the scales, the same as Shirohebe's. So, Mizuki whispered seductively, pressing close. Why run away? Don't you like touching me? Her warm breath brushed Haruto's ear, sending shivers racing down his spine. The cool press of her damp tail slid against his back, lifting the hem of his shirt. His whole body tensed. What are you going to do? Haruto stammered. Mom, save me. I'll never play with snakes again. Swallowing nervously, he tried to pry her tail off, but Mizuki only coiled tighter, her voice soft and aggrieved. You played with me every day. Once you've wrapped me up like this, you have to take responsibility. Fear and survival instinct exploded in Haruto. He blurted, I'll take responsibility. Just please, let me go first. But Mizuki shook her head, eyes hazy. No, you've stirred me up too much. I've entered estrus. Haruto froze in disbelief. Estrus? Do I really have that kind of power? Before he could react, Mizuki reached into his pocket and pulled out the small foil packet his mother had slipped him earlier. She studied it, then laughed softly, her cheeks red. So that's why you came running over so early tonight. Tired of playing with snakes, and now you want to play with me instead? Her hand pressed firmly on his shoulder, her lips near his ear, her breath hot and intoxicating. Haruto trembled violently, every nerve on fire. The tail wound tighter, cold scales sliding higher against his back. Panic and exhilaration collided inside him. He swallowed hard, desperately gripping the tail again, but Mizuki only pulled him closer. Her muffled voice quivered, torn between shame and desire. You touched me too much. You'll have to take responsibility for real this time. Haruto's heart pounded, his thoughts blurred. Mom, forgive me. I'll never play with snakes again. But deep down, he already knew there was no escaping Mizuki now.